Okay, so first let's talk about reorder marking. This is the third question after multiple choice. Reorder questions, reorder paragraphs. This is the marking system, okay? Now, as you all know, we also saw yesterday in the website that there will be two panels, one on the left and one on the right. Your job is to drag all the questions, all the options here, sentences here from the left side to the right side, okay? If you leave it on the left side, your answer will not be marked. You just get simply 0, okay? So have to move it to the right side and then arrange it, okay? So first step, move it to the right and then start arranging. Don't arrange it and then move it. Okay, don't do it one by one. Move it all and then arrange. Step number 1. So now let's suppose you've got, this is the order, and when you dragged it or you arranged it, you felt that it should be like this, C, E, A, B, D. So this was the question. That's your answer. And the right answer is A, C, D, E, B.
No,
0.
no.
Yes, it is 0. Yes. Look, how? Because we are not going to look at the position of the words. We are going to look at the sequence or the pairing. Okay. So what is the sequence? What is the pairing? Here there are 4 sequences or 4 pairs. One is AC. Then the next is CD. Then the other one is DE. And then the last one is EB. Okay, so AC, CD, DE, EB. These are the pairs. Yours, your answer, CE is not a match. CE is not a pair here. EA doesn't match with anything. AB, far apart. Nothing matches. BD also not together. So you have to, that's why this answer is 0 marks. Okay. So our concentration should be on making pairs. A, C, B, D, E. Now tell me how many marks this one gets.
2 marks.
2 marks. Okay, for which pairs?
AB.
Why AB?
So
There is no AB.
AC and DE.
Yes, AC and DB, DE. AC and DE. Because B comes in the middle, it doesn't match with any other word, any other sentences. That's why no marks. Okay, but look, AC is together here. So AC, 1 mark. DE is also together. So DE, another mark. Okay, that's why you have to look for pairs. Please focus on making pairs rather than the sentences. Okay, whichever comes together, 1 mark. Okay, I hope that's clear. Now let's know some rules. How do we pair them? The sentences are jumbled. The paragraph is taken from an academic writing and they've just mixed and matched all the sentences. You have to put it in the right order, okay? Following some rules. So let's write down the rules. The first rule, find the most general and independent sentence. This is quite easy. The first step is easy. You will find one sentence which is the most independent and most general, okay? Now, what is the definition of general and independent? Independent means, let's first talk about general, okay? General means overall, main idea, broader view. Okay, now this means if we are talking about varieties of fruits in one sentence and the other sentence is talking about citrus fruits, okay, which one is more general? This one is more general because under varieties of fruits you will have lemon, you will have citrus fruits, you will have tropical fruits, you will have this and that. Okay, so varieties of fruits is more general. Another question. Other mammals, and then chimpanzee and bobona or something like that. Okay, I just read it this morning. So which one is more general, other mammals or chimpanzee and bobona?
Other mammals?
Yes,
Other
other
mammals.
mammals. Yes, correct. So this sentence will come before chimpanzee and bobona. Do not name anything in the first go. Talk about the generality and then come down the names. Now, second idea is independent. Independent means there should not be any pronouns. Pronouns such as the, these, this, those. Okay, you know the pronouns. When you learn parts of speech, you have to go through this. He, she. Okay. Independent means there shouldn't be any pronouns. But I, you, and we can be first sentence. So as children, we learned that I, you, we are also pronouns. But there is an exception in reorder paragraphs. You take I, you, we as independent. Okay, I, you, we can have that as our first sentence. So that's an exception, okay? Otherwise, no pronouns. Independent also means no conjunctions. No conjunctions. So conjunctions like you cannot start with however, yet. You cannot start with nonetheless, but, or any other like same idea conjunctions like so. You cannot start with so or as a result. Okay, these are normal rules. But while, although, despite, in spite of, if, because, since, or any preposition. Preposition means any preposition like on, in, by, can be the first sentence. Okay. So we've already covered so many things, guys. Please follow me, okay? Independent means there shouldn't be any pronouns. There shouldn't be any conjunctions. But I, you, we, do not consider them pronouns. While, although, despite, in spite of, if, because, since, do not consider them pronouns or any preposition, okay? Or words like perhaps, they can be the first sentence. In our mind, we could think that, oh, this sentence starting with although, don't start this is not the first sentence. But yes, it could be the first sentence. Anything starting with although, despite, in spite of can be the first sentence, okay? Now where's my charger? Just a second. Okay. So after we found the first sentence, move on. The second rule. Nouns first, then pronouns. Okay. Now, as we said, we cannot start with a pronoun, but definitely there can be noun first and then a pronoun, okay? Like. And as I told you, you should start reading theconversation.com. Okay, from there, academic articles, we need to start. Okay, now I'm going to give you some examples of what is noun comes first, pronouns then. Okay, they is definitely a pronoun. Just one more minute. I'm going to actually get you the real paragraph. Now here's a sentence. This is to identify any potential ground hazards. subsidence, flooding, groundwater slips, weak soils, rocks, and to mitigate any geotechnical ground risks through sound land use planning and zoning and appropriate building design. Now, when you see these long sentences, your mind goes like, oh no, this is so hard, okay? But focus on the pronoun, focus on the main words. Look here, this is to identify any potential ground hazards. That is the main sentence, okay? Now, what is to identify any potential ground hazard? That's a pronoun. So there must be a noun coming somewhere else in another sentence or in before that or after that. Okay. Now you guys tell me what they are talking about. Okay. So this is another sentence. I don't need to write these sentences. But I'll just yeah. Okay. So here A, B, C, and D. This is to identify any potential ground hazards. Now tell me which sentence comes before A. This was actually a difficult one, but because it's long sentences and very technical words. But as we are talking about potential ground hazards, okay, let's look at B. This is talking about rail. So why are we identifying?
Do the A.
Yeah. Why are we doing this ground hazard? Isn't it? Why are we identifying the problems? It's not related to rail. A prerequisite for any new construction is a ground investigation to understand the subsurface. We need to do ground investigation. But why do we need to understand the subsurface? So that we can know there's flooding, there is soil problem, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so this is the noun and this is the pronoun, or this is the statement and A is the explanation. Okay, so statement comes first and then the explanation. We are doing a thing and then we are explaining why we are doing that thing. Okay, why we are doing the activity. But the rest is only talking about a single story house, not everything.
So when we make it the sentence, we always go to noun first. When we make the first sentence.
Yeah, noun, not the first sentence. It could be second, third, whatever. But then you have to know that noun sentence comes first and then comes the pronoun sentence.
Okay. Because I saw the A noun, that's why.
Now look, D is also talking about construction, but this is an example of a single story house. So they are saying we need to know these potential ground hazards. Even in a single story house, we need to drill a bore hole so that we can know the penetration resistance and we can know the shear strength. Okay, so this is an example which comes later on. First sentence is this one. Okay, then second sentence is this one. B does not relate to anything. I just try to confuse you guys. Okay, see, because this has got other items like harbor tunnels and blah, blah, blah. Okay, so B does not relate to anything. C, A, and then D. So my point here is first find the independent sentence. C is the independent sentence. Then look for a pronoun and try to match with a noun. Okay, why are they doing this? Who is this? This, what are they talking about? They, he, and then match it with the noun. Okay, so that's rule number 2. First, find the general sentence. Second, find the nouns and then pair it with a pronoun. Okay, now don't worry, we'll do more questions so that you get more practice. The third rule is conjunctions. So as already said, conjunctions focus on however, but, and, yet, so, hence, thus, they are all in one category, okay? Therefore, as a result. It could be for contrasting in contrast. Okay, now, you have to understand what the job is. What does however do? what does but, what does hence do. Okay, then try to get the pair correct consequently. Okay, you have to consider in contrast and consequently and however, because these are main conjunctions that can come in your test. So how do conjunctions help? You simply have to again pair them with positive or negative. Whenever you see a conjunction, you check which sentence is positive and which sentence is negative. Okay, that's first job. Look for positive and negative. So again, let me go for one example. So here's our sentence. Read the sentence, please. All right, so these are the three sentences, A, B, and C. Tell me, using the conjunction rule, which sentence comes first, then second, and third?
It's BCA.
BCA. Whenever you are reading the paragraph, you have to keep a broader mind and think about what they are actually saying about, okay? So this is a TV program, mother and son, because see, this is, if it's given as capitals, okay, like M is capital and S is capital, obviously it's a name of something. Otherwise, you don't capitalize mother and son. Like Australia is capitalized because it's the name of a country. So mother and son is capitalized because it's the name of a movie or a series, okay? And ABC is also the name of a media house. So this way you understand that they are talking about as Australia's population ages. That means as people get older and older, okay, and more of us grapple with the challenge of caring for aging relatives, like we have to care for our father and mother. So as this is happening in the country, it is unsurprising that it is obvious that this channel, ABC, is trying to show this program Mother and Son, okay, so that people are a bit emotional and they watch this series. Then they say, as our media and entertainment industries churn out remakes, so they're reviving means they are making remakes, they are making part 2. They're reviving the previous shows. Refashioning a beloved program like Mother and Son makes some sense. Okay, so this is positive. Look, makes some sense. A large portion of the ABC's aging audience will tune in. That means they will watch the show, if only to complain that the remake can't hold a candle to the original. That they will, maybe they will check the program and then they'll say, oh, it's nothing like the original. Okay, even to complain, they will watch it. Then, however, the revival has some fresh things to say about the fraught but loving bonds between adult children and their aging parents in the 21st century. So it's an old show. They are saying that it makes some sense. People will just say, complain about the remake. But even if it's a remake, even if it's something, some old program, there are something fresh because this is shown in the context of 21st century. Okay, and that is the connection. Using, however, they are trying to pair these two sentences, saying positive and negative. Okay, look, so this one is kind of, it makes some sense because they will tune in to complain, negative. However, it's not just old, there are some fresh things, positive. Okay, so my point here is again to show you that however, but, yet, in contrast, these kinds of words will contradict two sentences. Okay, with so, hence, thus, therefore, these sentences will not contradict. These sentences will give us reasons or some kind of relation, like positive relation. If it's positive, then positive relation. If it's negative, then negative relation. Okay, like if they're saying the program is fabulous, positive, then they will again say, thus it holds some value. Thus people will enjoy it. Okay, so again, when you are reading the paragraphs, look for conjunctions and see how they are pairing the sentences. Now, rule number 4 is easy one. Full name first, then half. Full name first, and then half. And this is obvious because you'll always name somebody, like this is Roger Williams, and then they'll say Mr. Williams worked as a blah blah blah. Okay, you will not start with a half name. So I don't think I need to elaborate this line, but yeah, I think you got it. Okay, any confusion with full name and half?
No, ma'am.
Okay, yeah, this should be fine. It could be, but it could be names of people, it could be names of countries, like you could say the United States of America first and then only USA. They could say University of Wollongong and then say UOW. Okay, so could be city names, country names, whatever is long, they will put that first and then make it shorter. Okay, sometimes they could do something like this. They'll say the United Kingdom and then give that as the UK in the bracket, and in the next sentence, just the short form. Okay, half name means also abbreviations, like, you know, the initials. Okay, right. Now, after this rule, let's look at dates and events. This is also called chronological order. And it mostly happens with events of life. Like I went to college, I graduated, then I looked for a job, then I earned this much, okay? Like dates related to life. Or about war, okay? In the war happened 1945. After 2 years, people started going away. Then they did that. Then the countries came in, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so in context of war, in context of life, in context of research, okay, this is also common. So what happens in a research? You will first gather participants. Let me write down, okay? If you first gather participants, after that you will survey or you will question them. Then you collect data. After that you analyze data. Then you will have some findings or conclusions. You won't collect data and then gather participants, because without gathering participants, you cannot collect data. Okay, you will not survey first. You will always have participants, maybe 500 participants, maybe 50,000 participants, and then you'll start surveying, then collect data, analyze data, and then findings. Okay, so that is event-wise. You will need to order the sentences. Sixth rule is grouping. Now, grouping is again quite common, like we've already done in one. Here in this one, A, B, and C, first they talk about mother and son. And then again, they talk about the same program. And from there, they introduce the word revival. And after that, in the third line, they also giving the word revival. Okay, so how they are pairing the sentences, the words. Introduce something, talk about that, introduce something else, and then talk more about that. That's called grouping. Okay, you cannot jump from one to another. You cannot simply start talking about one thing without introducing it. Okay, so in here you can also, on the side, you can write intro first, then description. Without the introduction, you cannot describe. Okay. So grouping done. Now, certainly there will be confusions. You could see 3 sentences talking about the same thing. Okay, then which one comes first? Which one comes second? Might be confused. In that case, you have to look at other rules as well. Are they giving any sequence, any order, any event? Are they giving any dates? Are they giving any noun pronoun? Is there any general and specific? Okay, so from those three, you again have to break down the rules. But trust me, guys, if you know these 7 rules, then you can solve any reorder paragraphs. Okay, then the last one is problem solution. Now, would you have problem first or solution first?
Problem.
Problem first.
Yeah, problem first. Okay, now this can also translate into question first. Question can come as a problem and then answer second. Okay, so have for question first and then answer. You cannot answer first and then question. Okay, now that doesn't mean that question will always come in the beginning. You could have question first and then answer, or sometimes you talk about certain things and then lastly question. Question can also come in the middle. It can come as your last sentence or the first sentence. Okay, but always see in relation to another sentence. What is the other sentence talking about? Is it an answer, a direct answer? Is it related to the question? If yes, if it is related to the question, then always after the question. Yeah. So let's do 3 and 4 in 4 to 5 minutes, okay? Because maximum is 5 minutes, minimum 4 minutes. You can send your answer in the chat box. Now I'm going to start explaining and giving you the answer because we can't be waiting forever, even in your practice time. You can always question, like after you finish it, you can always analyze your answer. But when you are answering the question, don't take a lot of time, okay? Now, first in A, there is a question, okay? So it could be related to our last rule. Problem comes first, then comes solution. But there are no pronouns. As I said, you, we, and I do not take them as pronouns, but there is a conjunction, a small, tiny conjunction, which is also, okay? There's a question, so could be problem solution. There is an also, that means something related to conjunction rule, okay? Sometimes you have to use 2 or 3 rules in like combined, okay, together. Now, it's a very easy task to combine the 2 sentences. You must get CA and DB together. Now, the question is, should we have C first or D first? Should we have the question first or the statements first? Okay. Now, as I said, think about problem and solution. How disorienting would it be to travel to a country where you don't know the language and cannot read the street signs? Obviously, street signs is more general than exit and stop sign, okay? Street sign, exit and stop sign. As I said, fruits, varieties of fruits first, and then citrus fruits or apples, mangoes, okay? So street signs include all other signs. First is C, then is A. This is a problem statement. You won't be able to do this, you won't be able to do that. Then as an answer, we have language. Language helps us know, get the knowledge. Language helps us share the information. And it also helps us on poetry, fiction, and feelings, and blah, blah, blah. So the right order is CADB. We use the rule of problem solution, question and answer. We also use the rule of conjunctions, okay? And general and specific. So that's how we got this pair right. Next, even if you did not get everything right and you got something like D, B, C, A, you still get 2 points, okay? For D, B, 1, for C, A, 1 more. So 2 marks out of 3. Now to practice from the website, we have got 495 reorder paragraphs already uploaded in the website, okay? So you log into your account, go to reading, go to reorder paragraphs. From there, start practicing 10 to 15 per day. So calculate for yourself, okay? Divide 500 with the number of days remaining. So if you have just 5 days remaining, try to do like crazy man, okay? Try to do most of them at once. If you have 10 days, just you can ease out. If you have 30 days, you can ease out more. All right, so I'll just teach you how you can practice from here. For the new ones, if you haven't ever used the website, let's go on to one of the questions. Get your rule book on the side, okay? Put your rule book, which we just discussed, 7 rules that we discussed, on the side. Then solve the question. And once you know the answer, try to match the rules. Try to see which rules is applied, okay? That's the only way you can improve reorder. So when you come tomorrow, you have to understand that. Don't say, ma'am, I didn't get the answers, even if I applied the rules. You didn't apply the rules. You just thought you applied the rules. Okay, so you drag everything on the right side. Unfortunately, I got only one. Then you click finish and you see your correct answer and your answer and the analysis, how many marks you got, which pairs were right and which were wrong. Okay, look at the timer always, should not exceed 2 to maximum 2.5 minutes, okay, when you are practicing. Thank you so much, everybody. I'll see you all tomorrow and probably we're going to do blanks again. Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you, ma'am.